Gemini, dear Gemini, let's talk about your sign. If there is one sign standing at the center of June 2026, it's you. This month carries your signature, your energy, your curiosity, your ability to connect ideas, people, and possibilities. And yet, this isn't just another Gemini season. This feels much bigger than that. For many Geminis, June is a turning point. A moment when something begins. A moment when a new version of yourself starts emerging. A moment when you stop asking who you should become and start recognizing who you've been becoming all along. For the past year, Jupiter has been traveling through your sign, and Jupiter only visits a sign once every 12 years. Think about that for a moment. 12 years. This has been a rare chapter of growth, a year of expansion, a year of learning, a year of discovering possibilities that may not have existed before. Some of you changed careers, some changed relationships, some changed locations, some changed beliefs, and some changed in ways that nobody else could see. But regardless of what happened externally, you are not the same person you were a year ago. And June marks the final chapter of that story. Before Jupiter leaves Gemini at the end of the month, it gives you one final opportunity to embrace your growth, one final invitation to trust yourself, one final reminder that your future is larger than your fears. At the same time, Uranus continues moving through your first house, and honestly, this may be one of the reasons life has felt unpredictable. Uranus is the great awakener, the rebel, the innovator, the force that refuses to let us stay trapped in outdated versions of ourselves. And for Gemini, this energy is personal. You may be changing your appearance, changing your goals, changing your lifestyle, changing your priorities, or simply realizing that the person you used to be no longer reflects who you are becoming. If you've felt restless, that's not necessarily a problem. Sometimes restlessness is the soul's way of saying, there is more waiting for you, and June encourages you to explore what that more might be. Now let's talk about one of the most important events of the entire month. The new moon in Gemini on June 15th. Gemini, this is your new moon, your reset button, your fresh start, your personal seeding moment. Imagine standing in a field. The soil is ready, the season is right, the future is unwritten. What do you plant? Because that's what this new moon is asking. What future do you want to create? What story do you want to tell? What version of yourself deserves more space in your life? New moons are not about immediate results. They're about intention. They are moments when small choices can grow into something significant over time. So don't underestimate the ideas that arrive around June 15th. Some of them may become much more important than they appear right now. Don't dismiss the opportunities that seem small. Now let's move to another major theme. Your relationship with value, worthiness, money, resources. For much of the month, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter are activating your second house. And while many people think of the second house as simply finances, it's much deeper than that. The second house asks, what do you believe you're worth? What do you believe you deserve? What are you willing to receive? And Gemini, this month may challenge some old stories, especially if you've spent years proving yourself, explaining yourself, working harder than necessary to earn validation. June invites you to consider a different possibility. What if your worth isn't something you need to justify? What if receiving doesn't require sacrifice? What if support doesn't need to be earned through exhaustion? For some Geminis, this may become one of the most important lessons of the month. Learning how to receive, without guilt, without apology, without feeling like you owe something in return. Now let's talk about relationships, because there is beautiful energy here. Around June 9th, Venus and Jupiter come together in one of the most supportive alignments of the year. This can bring warmth, affection, connection, kindness, and opportunities for love. If you're single, This energy can attract meaningful encounters. If you're in a relationship, it can deepen emotional intimacy. But what stands out most isn't necessarily romance, it's worthiness. The realization that you deserve love without constantly proving your value. The realization that being loved and being accepted are not the same thing, and that true love allows you to be fully yourself. Then, on June 13th, Venus enters Leo, and your natural Gemini charm becomes even more noticeable. You may find yourself speaking more confidently, expressing yourself more openly, feeling more magnetic, more visible, more willing to share your thoughts. And because Leo activates your communication sector, your words carry power. Never underestimate the impact of a conversation this month. A single discussion could open a door. A connection could lead to an opportunity. An idea could change the direction of your future. Around June 17th, emotions become deeper. Neptune adds sensitivity, imagination, spiritual awareness. You may feel more intuitive than usual, more aware of subtle energies, more connected to the emotional undercurrents of your relationships. Pay attention to your dreams around this time. They may have something important to say. Now let's shift toward career, because June supports progress, especially if you're willing to trust your voice. At the very beginning of the month, Mercury forms a helpful connection with Chiron, and this can help you communicate with clarity. You may finally find the words you've been searching for, the confidence to present an idea, or the courage to pursue a goal that previously felt intimidating. The new moon on June 15th is especially powerful for professional beginnings. Launching a project, starting a business, applying for a position, creating content, sharing your expertise, teaching, learning, anything that helps you express your unique gifts. This is not a month for playing small. The universe is encouraging you to step forward. And then we arrive at the final days of June. And Gemini, this is where things become exciting. On June 28th, Mars enters your sign. Suddenly, everything speeds up. Your energy increases. Your confidence increases. Your motivation increases. You may feel stronger, bolder, more decisive, more ready to act. If the first part of June is about planting seeds, the end of June is about movement, momentum, action, and determination. Just be mindful not to scatter your energy, because Mars and Gemini can become interested in everything at once. Choose your priorities carefully. Your energy is powerful, but it works best when it's focused. Now let's talk about health and well-being, because with so much mental activity, balance becomes important. Around June 10th, Mercury forms a tense aspect with Saturn. This may feel mentally heavy. Some of you may experience stress, overthinking, fatigue, or frustration with delays. If that happens, slow down. You don't need to solve everything immediately. Your mind is one of your greatest gifts, but even gifted minds need rest. Spend time outside, move your body, disconnect from constant information. Allow yourself moments of silence. Sometimes clarity arrives when we stop searching for it. And finally, we come to Mercury retrograde, beginning on June 29th. This retrograde takes place in Cancer, activating themes of emotional security and self-worth. And for you, this is not simply about delays or technical problems. It's about reflection, looking back, understanding your relationship with abundance, understanding your relationship with support, understanding what truly makes you feel secure. You may revisit old memories, old financial patterns, old beliefs about what you deserve. And through that reflection, something valuable emerges. Wisdom. If I could summarize June for Gemini in one sentence, it would be this: you are standing at the threshold of a new chapter. The old version of you has already done its job. The future is asking for something bigger, something bolder, something more authentic. June begins with possibility. It ends with momentum. And somewhere in between, you may realize that the life you've been imagining is much closer than you think. Now let's move to Cancer.